Hi everyone, I'm Mike DeLong, and I'm here to tell you about what I thought of the movies I watched last month. As before, I'm giving you my ratings from least favorite to favorite. Let me know what you think. First on our list is The Last Stop in Yuma County. I gave it 2 stars. While I was watching this movie, I was just waiting for it to be over. None of the performances are really all that good. This movie suffers from one person having a singular vision that is not fully developed. The same person wrote, directed, and edited this movie about a group of people at a diner, 2 of whom are bank robbers on the run after their heist. And everyone becomes their hostage. The movie really needed someone to have more input to help craft a better story. Next up, we have High and Dizzy. I gave it 2.5 stars. I was very disappointed with this movie. I saw Safety Last with Harold Lloyd a while back, and I was amazed by this forgotten silent film star. His name should be remembered with Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. At least that's what I thought before I saw this one. He's a great physical comedian, but there are only a couple of moments in this movie where we see that. He spends most of the movie drunk, and drunk in a silent movie is how a high school actor who's never tasted alcohol behaves. There are many funny moments in High and Dizzy, but overall, the movie just doesn't work for me. Killing of a Sacred Deer comes next, and I gave it 2.5 stars. I have seen almost every Yorgos Lanthimos movie since Dogtooth, and this one just doesn't match up to the rest. All the performances are so emotionless for the most part that it's hard to make any connection. I mean, even the bedroom role-playing for Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman's leading couple is for her to pretend she's under anesthesia. This is a horrible way to have someone make the Sophie's Choice this movie requires. Explanations for the cause of the driving force of the movie don't really exist. Is it medical? If so, why can't the doctors find out what it is? Is it supernatural? If so, how do these powers exist? It's just an unsatisfying movie all around. Next on our list we have Humane from last year, and I gave it 2.75 stars. I went into this movie thinking it was going to be one thing, when I really should have just trusted the labeling. I thought this movie was going to have a comedic tinge to it while still being rooted in horror, like Ready or Not or Bodies, 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 but it plays it straight throughout. This is a movie about government, class, and to a lesser extent about race, and how these things can tear a family apart. I may have liked this one more if I was in the right mindset for it, but I still appreciated it somewhat. Next we have The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I gave it 3 stars. Remember back in 2017 when the fascist government made us watch Bloodsport for entertainment? That's how I remember it. But really, they may have only been 10 years off. This movie is pretty cheesy. The one-liners are groaners, the action is okay. There's a pretty decent story here, and I hope Edgar Wright made improvements with the remake coming out later this year. Stay tuned for that review. I love Edgar Wright. Though there's no way he can improve on Richard Dawson's performance. It's amazing how many anti-authoritarian government movies I've watched recently. The Running Man is another enjoyable movie that really isn't all that good. If you missed it in the past, feel free to skip it and wait for the remake. Next we have Kick-Ass, and I gave it 3 stars. This is the first time I saw Kick-Ass. I don't know why I missed it or what I expected, but it was a fun movie. There's not a ton to say about this movie. The story's pretty good and the characters are funny. There is a gay storyline that is definitely dated, but the rest of it holds up all right. Not a ton to say, just a decent superhero movie. Please like this video and subscribe for future reviews and to find out what's coming to a streaming service near you. Amy and I went to the movie theater and saw Captain America: Brave New World, and I gave it 3.5 stars. I don't think this movie is as bad as everybody thinks it is. The first half of the movie is a little exposition heavy, but it's an enjoyable watch. There are some things that happen in a lot of movies that bother some people, like strange information download by a character that inexplicably has some backstory the studio feels the audience needs, or a character randomly showing up to prevent information from reaching our main character at the exact time it's going to be relayed. These things don't always bother the average viewer until someone else keeps pointing it out to them and they start noticing it themselves. It is also disappointing they felt they needed to spoil the Red Hulk reveal to get people into theaters. It would have been so much more exciting if it were a surprise. There's a cameo in the movie that's a little confusing on how it will play in the future in the MCU, but we'll see the results later. This review seems like a lot of complaints and nitpicks, but I did enjoy it. Next up is Saturday Night, and I gave it 3.75 stars. I really liked this movie. While it's pretty unbelievable that all the events of the movie happened in the 90 minutes before the first episode of SNL aired, it helps give the audience the sense of chaos that must have been present in the few days leading up to that first episode. I don't really believe that Lorne Michaels hired a writer in a bar 25 minutes before the show, but I really don't care. It may have happened, I don't know. I thought the performances were great and went beyond mere impressions of well-liked comedians. Overall, good movie. Next up is Piece by Piece, and I gave it 4 stars. I really like this blend of biopic, documentary, and fantasy. The movie goes through Pharrell Williams' life, from when he was a kid, through his struggles in school, to his first job in the music industry, through today, including his successes and struggles. The story is told through interviewing Lego stand-ins for people who know Pharrell, then showing scenes from his life with the inclusion of some dreamlike sequences. Lego was a great medium to tell the story, and it was interesting to hear the details of Pharrell's life. I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990, and I gave it 4 stars. I watched this movie with my son, and he really enjoyed it. We'd previously seen the new TMNT animated movie in theaters, and he liked that, so I decided to show him this one. Some of the jokes are dated, including some slightly racist ones if you're listening close enough. Splinter's exposition kind of comes out of nowhere, and Donatello's character lacks development that he has in the cartoon, but most of the storytelling is good. There are only a couple of plot-convenient moments that are problematic. The apartment fight is still great. Actually, all the fight scenes are good. There aren't a lot of edits that you can see in the modern fight scenes, which elevates them quite a bit. I haven't seen many of the newer Turtles movies, but I can confidently say that this is still one of the best. Next up is The Elephant Man. I gave it 4.25 stars. I watched this movie because David Lynch died, and I hadn't seen many of his movies. Really, I haven't liked them all that much either. I don't necessarily blame the movies, I just wasn't prepared enough to see them. The Elephant Man is a very easy introduction to Lynch if you need one, though not exactly what I'd call Lynchian. It's a straightforward biopic of John Merrick, a man with a deformity who is abused and used by others to make money or gain notoriety. I thought this would be a sad movie, but it really makes you think about people's intentions and their consequences, whether those intentions are good or not. Merrick's makeup is amazing, though sometimes it looks a little patchy, but that could just be shadows. Anthony Hopkins and John Hurt were great in their roles, definitely worth the watch. Next is We Live in Time, and I gave it 4.25 stars. Why wasn't this movie nominated for any awards? Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh were great. This love story jumps back and forth in time, but it's never confusing. Over the course of the movie, we see the couple meet, fall in love, develop a relationship, have a child, and deal with a life-threatening illness. All of this is handled really well, with the exception of some heavy-handed symbolism at the end, but that didn't spoil the rest of the movie for me. I definitely recommend this one. Our last movie is Good Night and Good Luck, and I gave it 5 stars. This is my favorite movie from 2005. The acting from everyone is astounding, and I love the black and white cinematography. It was an important movie when it came out to show how the media could stand up to the government with integrity while still being impartial to either side. When the government lies, the media should call it out. It's an important movie now because we all have the responsibility to stand up and speak out against the government when it's wrong. This is why George Clooney is bringing the movie to the Broadway stage. I wish I could see it. That'll do it for this video. My Oscar Best Picture reviews are also posted, so keep an eye out for that one. If reviews aren't your thing, come back in a couple of weeks and we'll see what's streaming in April. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.